Shalom, which means peace. This is the brother Iteziah Razamath. I come to you in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who is also known as Yeshua the Almighty, who is also known as Yehoshua, who is also known as Yahawashah HaMashiach. He knows who you're talking about. The Son of the Almighty God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, to bring to you this series of video documentations to explain Substantia Nigra, but on a spiritual level. And as we show you what's going on and how we can correlate to what's going on in society, there's a deep part of your brain, a deep dark part of your brain called Substantia Nigra, and it deals with movement and also pleasure and other things. It's called literally the dark substance, like that dark area in your brain. But when you go into it, it gets so much deeper. So we're going to show you through biblical scriptures, examples in this documentation about what's really going on and what's going on with today's society. Because you have a lot of different unclean spirits around here. Like you'll have the unclean spirit of lust. We'll just make him into like this old man, dirty old man, the unclean spirit of lust, the pleasure. Then you got the unclean spirit of rage, like who just looking to just start wars and fights. Then you got another unclean spirit of madness, just causing confusion amongst the people and distortion amongst scientists. And then you got the unclean spirits of the false prophet. And all these things start in the mind. So we're going to talk about Substantia Nigra, something that's very important, and show you biblical scriptures as we compare and contrast this Substantia Nigra, this dark substance, to see what's really going on. So this is a series of videos that we're putting together because it's very important and it goes deep. How deep does this rabbit hole get? This rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper when you start to think about this. So as we understand what the scriptures are telling us and how we can open up the scriptures and open up our intelligence to understand the wickedness that's amongst the people and about the demon that lies inside of all of us. This demon, this unclean dark area that controls this lust, that controls movement, like this pleasure demon, that's inside of us, that's in our brain, called Substantia Nigra. So let's see what it's going to be about. So brothers and sisters out there and people that's reading, I'm going to have an AI professor named Professor Firefly Robinson. He's going to explain the whole scientific detail of Substantia Nigra to y'all, so y'all can understand it better. So just listen to the little scientific detail and we'll be right back. All right. Professor Robinson, go ahead. You have the stand. Go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Firefly Robertson, and I will be explaining Substantia Nigra. The Substantia Nigra is a small but very important structure located in the midbrain, deep within the brainstem. Its name means black substance because it contains dark-colored neurons that produce a pigment called neuromelanin. Although it is small, the Substantia Nigra plays a major role in movement, coordination, motivation, and reward. It is best known for producing dopamine, a chemical messenger that helps different parts of the brain communicate.
All right, thanks, Brother Robinson. So, as you understand, the word is Substantia Nigra, right? Not Nigra, Nigra. So, let's continue this documentary series that we're doing. So, I'm going to have Brother King as my reader because we already understand this is dark substance, just like what Professor Robinson explained. So, let's understand this. Brother King, get 2 Corinthians 10 and 3 and read it for me.
2 Corinthians 10 verse 3, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
So, Even though we walk in the flesh, meaning we are here, we're mortals, and we're in this flesh. But our war is totally different. You have these evil spirits, right, that are masquerading as people, but they're demons. So imagine you have a demon of pleasure, whereas this fat guy, but he's really a demon, and then this demon of madness, all right, but he's really a demon, and then you have this demon of rage, and then a demon of who's a false prophet, and each one have their own significance to infect people's mind with rage, madness, corrupt understanding of the Bible, and even just pleasure. These are the things that start about in the mind. That's why there's a big war on the mind. If you could just picture a whole group of people that's into mind control. So that's the whole thing, and they dealing with these demonic entities that's actually that want to control us. Continue reading, Brother King. Go.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
Why the pulling down of strongholds? Well, the reason why the pulling down of strongholds is because, let's say they're all together in a conspiracy. They're making up this thing called the war of the mind. You have these people all at a table. You even had the demon, the pleasure there, and they're just discussing how they're gonna do things to destroy us, to destroy people's mind. And then you got a demon saying, we need more pleasure. But then another one comes, bring in the madness. It all starts in the mind. The mind is under attack. That's the whole thing about it. Our mind is under attack. And then we have to pull down those strongholds. Because let's look at the evil spirit of madness. This old guy who wants to corrupt people's mind, right? He wants to turn us to clown and lunatics. Why? When you think of a clown and a lunatic, a clown or a lunatic is easier to control. Like a person who's like a lunatic, just walking around, he's crazy. A picture of a guy in a straitjacket, for example. A guy in a straitjacket. He's someone has to control him because he can't control himself. So that's that mentally ill that's always amongst us. It's always you have these clowns, these mentally ill people that always just want to just come against us. But the thing is, they're under this mind control of madness. This old guy who's sitting there. Let's picture this old man, this Dr. Madness, this demon. So they're under madness and folly. So they're being controlled. They're walking up down the streets, being controlled by this. Is they're walking up and down, and it says their eyes are just straight blackened, and it's they're demons all around, and that's that control. That's why the mind is under attack, and we have to pull down those strongholds. Let's continue reading, Brother King. Go.
Verse 5, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Bam. So, casting down imagination. So certain things starts in imagination. You're sitting there, you're thinking these weird thoughts, and it starts in the mind. And you have to cast those things down. So let's look at this back to the spirit of madness again. So there's a pack of scientists, and they want to make this dark science to make you more insane over and over. So they put a lot of things in front of you to do this insanity, because that's what they're really trying to do. Drive us mad as a society, as a people, as a nation. Everybody, this whole world is under hijack. That's why he wants his chosen people to come out of this whole Babylon system to serve him, because we're being plagued by this demon of madness. So it's the scientists want to make you more insane, and they put things in drugs, meaning in medicines, and put weird things on the television to make you more crazier and crazier. And then you got another demon known as this old dirty old man, the pleasure. Yes. Now another distraction. want to distract you by putting things in front of you that can cause something called dopamine. Now, dopamine, as the Professor Robertson has explained, is being produced in this
Excuse me, Brother King and Brother Idazaya. Before you proceed, it's important for me to explain the role of dopamine more clearly.
I'm gonna let Dr. Robinson, Professor Robinson, actually explain it more. All right, so explain more about this dopamine. All right, go.
Dopamine is a brain chemical that plays a major role in motivation, reward, pleasure, and learning. It does not simply create happiness. Rather, it helps the brain recognize what is important and worth repeating. When a person eats good food, accomplishes a goal, exercises, or experiences something enjoyable, dopamine is released in certain reward pathways of the brain. This release teaches the brain, this behavior matters, do it again. In a healthy way, dopamine helps people pursue survival, relationships, learning, and achievement. Addiction is strongly connected to dopamine because many addictive substances and behaviors overstimulate the brain's reward system. Drugs such as cocaine, methamphetamine, nicotine, opioids, and alcohol can cause dopamine activity to rise far beyond normal levels. Certain behaviors, such as gambling or compulsive internet use, can also trigger powerful dopamine responses. When dopamine is repeatedly increased in an intense way, the brain begins to connect the substance or behavior with a strong sense of reward and desire. Over time, the brain adapts to these repeated dopamine surges. It may reduce dopamine receptors or become less sensitive to normal pleasures. This process is one reason addicted individuals may feel less joy from everyday life and need more of the substance or behavior to feel the same effect. This is called tolerance. At the same time, cravings can become stronger because the brain has learned to associate certain places, people, emotions, or routines with the addictive reward. Dopamine is also linked to habit formation. Addiction is not only about pleasure, it becomes a learned pattern. Even when the harmful consequences are clear, the brain may push the person toward the addictive behavior because dopamine-based learning has strengthened the urge. Understanding dopamine's role in addiction shows why addiction is not simply a lack of willpower. It is a powerful change in the brain's reward, motivation, and learning systems.
All right, that was a good explanation that Professor Robertson explained about dopamine. It's like that reward type of reward neurotransmitter that's that causes addiction, but it gives you like a reward. Like, let's say like you're playing a sport, right? You're into the sport and you want to win, so it gives you that reward. That's like, there's the good side of dopamine, then there's the evil side. It's just that so many people use the evil side of dopamine. So brother King, I need you to read 2 Timothy 3:1. Go.
2 Timothy 3 verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
When it says perilous times, it means like it's going to be a crazy time, a time of peril, meaning destructive, hard times. And he's going to describe exactly what's going to happen in the future. And we're living in the future right now. So let's see what's going to happen.
Verse 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
So, men shall be lovers of their own selves. A good example, people will be lovers of their own selves. Let's say you're like a group of models, like you want to look whatever they see that's fashion, they want the best fashion, they like modeling, then they want to take selfies. Like they want to take selfies of themselves because they want to look like the next model or the next British icon or something like that. So that's that lover of themselves. So always want to do selfies, always thinking about themselves. Keep going.
Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
So it says covetous and boasters, right? And it says proud. All right. So when you see proud and blasphemers, just picture like these rich people. They're just always getting money, gaining money by evil ways, by dancing around in riches. And then you have the spirit of the pleasures there too. But they know they got their riches from wickedness. They're so proud that they can't see it. And that pride is the thing that causes blindness. Yeah. Pride is that thing that causes blindness that leads people to destruction. So these are the things that's going to be happening in the last days, which we are in right now. You see a lot of proud people around here. You see a lot of people that think only about themselves. Go to verse 3 now. Go.
Verse 3, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good.
So it says something about the truce breakers and false accusers, and incontinence and fierce. So incontinence and fierce is mean to have rage, like having that spirit of rage. Now that's what it means to be fierce, having that rage spirit. So let's picture a rage spirit as just like army lieutenant, right? Lieutenant Rage. He's just commanding these dark forces. And what he's doing is he wants to see people fight. That's all he care about. Like two brothers fighting. Just keep fighting. That's what this rage is about. Just over some petty stuff. He just likes seeing fights. Street fights. People like brawling in the streets. Just hurting each other with sticks. And he's there just chanting them on. That's that spirit of rage that the Most High says to stay away from. Things like that. This spirit of rage is evil. That's all the spirit of rage. And people, they can't think straight when they have that spirit of rage, that incontinent spirit. And it says despisers are those that are good, because when you're raged like that, you don't really know what's good. Your mind is void of understanding, because your mind has like these demons that's all around it. And these demons that's all around it is causing the mind to be under attack by all these different spirits. That's why in one of those spirits is that spirit of rage. But let's keep going. Let's keep reading. Go.
Verse 4, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
So it says lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. So as you know how that spirit of pleasure is, that dirty old man right there. So imagine him. He's just walking down the aisle with a sodomite dude or a gay dude and a drunk woman, and they're just enjoying the moment. I mean, why? Because they both are blinded. If you're like this woman that's drunk and everything, you're full of pleasure, and of course, if you're a sodomite, you accept anything. You're all for it. All right. So, but that's really like the pleasure is like controlling them. That spirit of the pleasure, because that's that blindness, and that's that thing where you go back to dopamine. To have that pleasure as a reward, where that dopamine is being produced inside your mind to push that pleasure. Now, like I said before, there's certain good pleasures like that dopamine produces. Like, for example, when you eat good food, like let's give it a good example. You go to a place that serves chicken, right? Let's see, what's a good place? We'll call JFP. Jersey Fried Pleasure. Let's just make one up. Yeah, Jersey Fried Pleasure. All right. So you're at this chicken place and everybody's there. They're buying chicken. And also you see the spirit of the pleasure is there. But at the same time, it's not 100% evil as long as you're not overeating or eating in excess. Everybody loves to eat. There's nothing wrong with that. If you understand in the scriptures, there are feast days. There's nothing wrong with eating. It's something called going overboard. Yeah, they have their families eating the chicken. Everybody's eating the chicken. It's pleasure. That's known as good pleasure. That's a good example of good pleasure right there. You have your good pleasure and your evil pleasure. Yes, eating food is good pleasure. There's no sin in it unless you're going overboard or if you're eating unclean foods, where the Most High says do not eat. Says don't eat those foods, or you're eating things that are raw with blood or things strangled, things like that. There's certain things that you're just not supposed to eat. But now, as more about this pleasure that we're about to go into, go to 1 Timothy 5 and 6 to see what it can do to you. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. Go.
1 Timothy 5 verse 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
So, she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she lives. So imagine you have that drunk woman again, right? That drunk woman, she's like having fun. She's walking around. She's drunk, but she doesn't understand anything because that spirit of pleasure is like controlling her, telling her you do this, you do that. They having fun together, and she's actually being possessed by that demon of pleasure. So that's why you have to have that, your lights open. It says your spirit should be like that light should be shining. You should be staying sober and staying in the spirit so you can understand the wiles of the devil. Because the devil has his forces all around just waiting, just to pounce on you. So, let's see, understand this light of the body a little bit more. Let's go to Matthew 6:22. Go.
Matthew 6, verse 22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
So, he said the light of the body is the eye. So that eye right there, it is our eye be single, meaning if you only focus on what that light is showing you, meaning the scriptures, the whole body will be full of light. It'll open this portal that shows up, this large portal, that inner light that's inside of you. And of course, this is where they get the chakras from, like you see about the Hindus and Buddhists. They get this whole chakra system for that, because when they looked into the spirit world with probably dark magic, they were seeing certain lights that was on the body. They were seeing these different color lights and things like that. But when you look at it, some would argue, like I'm saying out of research, some would argue that according to this scripture, there'll be really only one chakra, and that would be the eye chakra. Because Christ is saying the light of the body is the eye. The other ones will be just mirror images of that, if you understand how the chakra system work. Because the word chakra just means wheels, because that's what the Hindus only understood that. When they was using dark magic to look into the spirit world, they just saw wheels on people's bodies, wheels of light. And that's all they call them. They say, oh, these are chakras. And for evil people, the wheels that was in the light would darken up. And for people who had more positive energy, it would brighten more. So, but like I said, there's certain people will argue that there's really only one, and that's the eye chakra, what they say, the third eye or the inner eye chakra, and the other ones are mirror images of that.
There is only one true chakra, the third eye, according to Matthew 6:22. What about the other chakras? The 7 chakras are a complete system for spiritual growth, but the third eye is key to spiritual sight. It is, but not alone. The other chakras are just mirror images of the third eye chakra, which is the light of the body.
So, but let's see what will happen if you start focusing on evil things. If you become a walking servant to those demons, what will happen to your body? Remember, if you focus on positive things, your body will be full of light. But what will happen if you focus on negative things? Read the next verse. Go.
Matthew 6, verse 23. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
So, if your eye is evil, your whole body should be full of darkness. So in other words, if you're constantly focusing, having that inner eye on evil things, the works of darkness over and over and over again, that means you're allowing your brain to have these demons all on them and control you. Then these spirits will control you, especially the spirit of madness, or control you like you just this mentally insane person and just able to push you around and just do whatever. And then you have another spirit like that false prophet. Yeah, imagine a person in a robe being like this false prophet with a book and everything. And now you want to go into a whole different doctrine because you're following what this false prophet is saying. Or then you get that spirit of rage, that anger, where you're following after that demon of rage, just want to hurt somebody. Or then you're just going to that dirty old man, that pleasure. You're just doing what he wants. So continue reading. Finish 23.
If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
So when he says how great is that darkness, it means that darkness can get deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where you have like an abyss in your soul, like this dark portal in your soul, just being sucked in. Yeah, because that's how the system works. You have a lot of people who are being blinded. And let's see how they're being blinded. What's this blindness? Let's go to Ephesians 4:18. Ephesians 4:18.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 18, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
So when your mind is blind, or your heart is blind, you're alienated from the Lord. And one of the things that pushes that is through the education system. The education system is telling you, yo, obey, don't obey whatever the government is saying. Don't rebel, just obey. Be good slaves. And they're teaching that to children. And they're not just teaching it to children. When people just walk out, they're seeing the same thing. It's like all through media, all through television. They're walking around. Their eyes are darkened because there's darkness on them. And it says, obey, buy, obey. And it even tells you, just vote because we said so. Things like that. That's how it is. And that's why a lot of people, they're lost. They're lost because they don't understand what the Bible is saying. And let's even prove that. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 4:3. Read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
So, the ones that are lost. Who are these ones that are lost? What is this lost? Means that they can't find their way. It means that they can't find a way to somewhere. So, let's explain. Continue reading.
2 Corinthians 4, verse 4. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
So, it's saying their minds were blinded by the God of this world. Now, this is known as a stumbling block because certain people that aren't learned don't understand. It says the God of this world. Wait. So, that's why you have like a certain Muslim person, a certain known Muslim, would say, hey, is your God Satan or something? It says blinded by the God of this world. Is it Satan? Understand what the word God means. In Hebrew, there are two words for God. One is called a powerful ruler, which is Elohim, also known as Elohim. And then another one means the Most High. So, which is Elion or El Elyon. So they both are translated as the word God. So if you look at 2 Corinthians 4:4 in a whole different manner, it says, in whom, and it says in 4:4, in whom the powerful ruler of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who's the image of the Most High, should shine upon them. Once you start to look at it like that, and you can change the wording around like that from the Hebrew, from the English to the Hebrew, it gets clearer. There's a whole video about that on YouTube that goes into that. You could just search your YouTube videos about the true name of God, about the term God and the language of Christ, because Christ spoke Hebrew. And that video proves it a lot.
So, two words for God in Hebrew. One is Elohim, meaning powerful ruler, and the other is Elyon, the Most High.
That's a powerful distinction.
It really is.
So, but now you understand about the two meanings of the word God. A powerful ruler, and the other one means the Most High. All right. Now, let's continue going on about this ones that's caught in madness. All these things about this blindness, about how is this blindness happening to the mind. So let's imagine like a bunch of conspiracy of devil worshippers. They're coming together to corrupt people, all right? And they're trying to do this, and they're trying to blind the mind of these people. So let's go to Romans chapter 1:21 and see what's going on with this corruption. Go.
Romans 1, verse 21. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations.
So there was a time where all nations knew the true and living God, all the nations. And this happened right after Noah. So, but it says they became vain in their imaginations. Keep going.
And their foolish heart was darkened.
And that's when that blindness happened, when their foolish heart was darkened. So they was able to be deceived by like this spirit of a false prophet. because you had false prophets even back then, and they was able to be deceived by them because they knew it. Similar to, let's say, a regular church member who at least knows at least some of the truth, but then that spirit of the false prophet starts to seep in the church and gives him another doctrine that the Most High did not tell him. And this church pastor looks at the doctrine and he's happy. He's like, whoa, this is something new. And then starts to set off on his own thing. Now, because of that, you have craziness in church. You have woman pastors. You have sodomites in the choir. You have Muslims in the church. Muslims in the church. I mean, come on now. You have all craziness that's in many of these Afro-American and church of minorities because of that spirit of that false prophet is in them. See, you have to follow them. You have to follow Christ. Christ wasn't doing that. He wasn't down with Islam. He wasn't down with those sodomites. He wasn't down with having women over men, telling them what to do in spirituality aspects. There was order. Let's go to Matthew 16 and 24. Read it.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 24. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross.
So he says, deny yourself. The things that you really think is right. Deny all that. Don't let the false prophet or the spirit of madness come into you. Deny yourself. All those wicked thoughts and those wickedness, if you really want to come after him, deny yourself. And it says, take off your cross. That's right. That's being that living sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things that you used to do and follow after him, meaning follow in his footsteps. These pastors, they're not following in the footsteps. They're celebrating all things. You have certain pastors that's going around just dressed up in Easter costume, celebrating Easter, a pagan holiday, dressed up in an Easter bunny costume, dancing around all happy and all that. And Christ isn't about that. He's not that paganism. That's why you have to learn how to put off all that wickedness. Go to Ephesians 4 and 22. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22.
And follow me. Not if Philippians 4, verse 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts.
So it says right here, Ephesians 4 and 22. It says that you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts. So that old man, like it says in Ephesians 4 and 22. So let's imagine that spirit of that dirty old man, the pleasure. You're over here, you're trying to concentrate on the Most High. You're reading your scriptures, but the pleasure, he's over there putting these negative images right in there. He's over there. He's saying, yo, look at these images. Look at this. You have to tell him, yo, get out of here. Get out of here. You're kind of concentrating on the Most High. Make him leave. And in verse 23.
Verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
So that's what you have to do. Be renewed in your spirit of your mind. That's the whole thing. That's how you get that blindness off. That's how you get rid of that your mind from being attacked. Is you have to have a stronger mind. That's why it says he don't give you a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. That sound mind is a strong mind. You have to be stronger to fight all those devils, all those demons that's masquerading as good people. They are demons that's trying to corrupt your mind and trying to have an attack on your mind. So you have to try to do that. And these are known as the Chronicles of Substantia Nigra, which is that dark substance on the mind. And this is the first episode. There's other episodes to come because this gets deeper and deeper. The rabbit hole gets even deeper than this. So make sure y'all continue to watch and remember to subscribe so you can know more and more because the time is nigh. Because we have a lot of enemies, a lot of spiritual enemies out there. And we have to go over how to defeat them in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So thank y'all all for listening and all my AI readers and the AI professor and all that. And thanks for everything. Until the next episode of the Substantia Nigra Chronicles. This was episode 1, which is going to what's going on, the basic of the mind being under attack. But now we're about to really go deeper as we stay in. So until next time, we meet again. Peace, love, and blessings in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, which is Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I say peace and blessings. Shalom. Remember to subscribe.